Hello, good morning. How are you? Hope you're fine, man. Hope you're doing good. So, today, yesterday there was this article that I stumbled on. I didn't stumble on. They're called The Elephant. The Elephant, what? If you know those people, why is this? I can't even describe who these niggas are, but I normally read the articles they do share it on their newsletter. So, Zana, they were talking about this thing to do with Mau and Gen Z and whatnot. It was like, man, this is something interesting that as youths we need to know about. Actually, I'll share this shit on my WhatsApp. So if you follow me, if you have my number, you just see it on my WhatsApp. And by the time as I go through it, read it, and can also share it. So I'm reading it from an excerpt here. It's a long one, but end up getting many nice. Why am I even speaking so much? Nanafani so much shit. So inasema hivi, among the key lessons that today's Gen Z's activities can learn from Mau, the most essential building fuck, man. I'm just starting to read this shit. Are you going to get whatever I'm trying to say? But here's the shit. Among the key lessons that today's Gen Z activists can learn from Mau, the most essential are building an organized movement and expanding political education among the youth. This is something they used to do back in 1941. So over the past 12 months, Gen Z activities have shown that they are extremely effective at mobilizing thousands of young Kenyans through social media to come out to protest. The street demonstration have become an important avenue for the youths to grieve in community, release pent-up anger and frustration, and ensure that their voices are heard. The period of mobilization and actual demonstration usually lasts for about a week before the energy begins to fizzle out. Everyone then goes back to their daily routine. The conversations continue online, and several weeks or months go by before the next round of protest starts all over again. Yeah, that's how we move. That's how it has been happening. But here is now the juice. This nigga is asking, but what will happen if the periods of lull after every cycle of protest were used to build and expand the Gen Z movement? That's question one. What difference would it make if members of the Gen Z movement congregated on their own terms rather than in response to yet another police killing or abduction of a government critic? What if the WhatsApp groups that have been so effective at mobilizing protesters were used to organize study groups and distribute weekly readings? What if the X spaces that have become protest strategy rooms were refashioned into virtual classrooms where study groups could meet every week to discuss the distributed readings? Or what if the X spaces were transformed into lecture rooms where veterans of Mwakenya and December 12th movement could be hosted every fortnight to share their experiences? The possibilities are endless, but the point is that Gen Z's methods of mass mobilizations can be repurposed into useful tools for expanding political education among the youth. Expanding political education will create valuable spaces for members of the Gen Z movement to discuss, debate, and formulate their own political agenda, which currently risks being co-opted by different factions of the ruling elites. It will also allow the Gen Z movement to learn from the other political movements in history, studying their aims, methods, achievements, and failures. The need for the Gen Z movement to prioritize political education was clearly demonstrated during the Nane Nane protest on August 8, 2024. What was initially billed as the mother of all protests was later described as a failure because only youth in Nairobi had taken to the streets. Their counterparts in Nyanza, Western, and Coast had all snubbed the protest. Whether by design or coincidence, August was the same day that President William Ruto swore in his new cabinet, which included 4 leading opposition figures from the same regions that had ignored the protest. This nigga is an opportunist, a bad one. When interviewed about the failure of 999 in the coast region, Gen Z activists in Lamu and Mombasa explained that the inclusion of former Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho in the new cabinet had made them feel part and parcel of President William Ruto's government. The fuck? While this explanation might seem naive to Gen Z activists in Nairobi, it points to a deeper history of exclusion and belonging that has long characterized the Kenyan body politic. The Gen Z slogan of a tribeless movement is undoubtedly genuine, but it is an aspiration that must grapple with the reality of 6 decades of tribalism and regional marginalization in the political economy of independent Kenya. Expanding political education will allow members of the Gen Z movement to learn about the shared history and distinct struggles of different regions of the country. From the Luo youth of Kisumu who have long challenged police brutality under the slogan Luo Lives Matter, to the Somali youth of Garissa, Mandera, and Wajir, who all know too well what it is like to be called a terrorist in your own country. That's the end of the excerpt. So, what's your thought on whatever this nigga is saying? First and foremost, this nigga has some brilliant ideas. I'll say it's brilliant. I stumbled on it and I was like, yeah, man, you have some truth. And we need to rethink how we're going to do this shit. Like, truly speaking, right now, we need more education than anything. We know the violence and whatnot, but we need to be smart about this shit. I had to read that shit and back then when Mama were doing this shit. First of all, let me just say something here that is not part of what I'm talking about, but it is a kind of makes sense if you get what I'm saying. So there's this thing. I'm interested in this shit that there's this, I don't know, it's a branch of knowledge. Let me just say a branch of knowledge called astrology. And astrology is something interesting. It's just interesting. You should go check. And check is something about to do with astrology. So in astrology, I don't know so much about it, but kuna point flani yenye it really stuck with me. The saying on 7/7, which is it was already past. It has some symbolism in the spiritual world and whatnot. I don't understand those, but also on 7/7 is when Uranus was transiting into Gemini. I don't know if that is charm, but you just get whatever I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to share this knowledge. I don't know so much, but yeah, it makes sense. So Uranus was entering Gemini in 7/7, Sabasaba, which is in this year 2025. So astrologers are saying that the last time Uranus was in Gemini was 84 years ago. Let's not talk about 84 years ago. They say there's some characteristics ama kuna tu vitu zenye these planets have that kind of like they have an effect on us as human beings hapa hivi kwa Earth. So the planet Uranus iko na effects something to do with innovation, freedom, technology, communication is Gemini. So Uranus is like is it the sky god ama what? I don't know, but wenda utafanya research zako. Niliwaambia ngapi utaenda tu do your own research, because whatever I'm saying here inaweza kuwa make sense. You go do your own fucking research. So Uranus iko na hizo characteristics, the planet of the gods, chana hizo story. So wanasema back in 1884 when Uranus gets into Gemini, there's something that really happens. So Uranus is going to be in Gemini for 8 years, from 2025 to 2033. And during these times, bro, expect some rapid changes in so many things, like disruptions in different facets of our industries, the world, globally. Like, just look at what is happening globally right now and try to see it with what is happening right now. And as much as we see shit that is happening in the world around the people, there's something that is also happening to you as an individual. And if you look inside of you, you will understand these shifts. So Uranus being in Gemini, the last time ilikuwa kwa Gemini, now I'm looking it from an aspect of history ya Kenya and it being a revolution and whatnot. In history, ukigo back during hiyo time yenye Uranus ilikuwa kwa Gemini, kuna vitu zenye zilikuwa zina happen during those period ya Gemini being in Uranus being in Gemini. So one of them imekuanga ni war, ingine zimekuanga ni disruptions too in very so many things, ingine zimekuanga ni inventions. So during Uranus being in Gemini, so many inventions that happened, there's so many disruption in different industry. There's change, there's innovation, there's that need for independence. Viduka tu hizo, if kaona za filio kitu manze, juu whatever we're fighting for right now is independence. It's like we need independence, motherfucker, like financial independence. And people are boycotting from so many things. Ukiangalia says like your period, like 1 year back up to now, people are just quitting their jobs, quitting whatever they were doing earlier. It's like people are leaving behind some shit that were not working, some past shit that were not working. So what wanaziacha behind. Now let's get back into Kenya with Mau shit. So 84 years ago, Uranus was in Gemini. 84 years ago is 1940. What happens in 1940 in Kenya? In Kenya during 1940s, hapo hiyo ndio period yenye kina nani wanaanza Mau wanaanza kumobilize. That's when they start having the conversation of, hey man, Mafrika huyu mzungu anafaa kutoka. It's like that's when they start to fight for their rights in 1941 during that period. But inakujanga inashika in 1948. That's when now the Mau really starts to, sijui ndio ilikuwa maanza kukua, now the violence started ama nini. But during that period, but mobilization started like 1941 during Gemini's transit into during Uranus transit into Gemini. So this is telling me something, like this is something that I'm trying to extrapolate from that explanation or that shit. We're in 2025 and right now we're agitating about some shit. It's been 84 years ago when Uranus was in Gemini, and now Uranus has gotten into Gemini. And if you can see it right now, na hiyo kitu yenye nimesoma hapo hivi, the Mau and the Gen Z, there's a connection. Can you see the connection? The connection is that right now there's so many disruptions that is happening. Okay, we go back in 84 years ago. It's that I didn't like pinpoint easy my shit nini, but kuna vitu zenye ukiangalia in history what happened during this time and when Uranus was with Gemini, it's an indication that this shit is money. We don't know. There's so much about this world that we don't know. Like we know ni venye we are not open to this information, ama we are not. Excuse my nini. I'm drifting. But the disruption during 1944 ndo pia kulikuwa na war. Then ukirudi in 1940s, then ukirudi back 84 years again when Uranus was in Gemini, the shits that were happening, but not now like in Africa. In Africa, I don't know what was happening in Kenya in 18 something. I only know from 1900s. It's funny that I used to think the world began in 1900. I was like, man, kwani wazungu walikujanga nini? It's like they brought awareness into us. Yeah, but what was I talking about? About revolutions. Yeah, revolutions happens when Uranus is in Gemini. Go look at the history of revolutions. And then go back 84 years ago every fucking time. Go back 84 years ago. From today, go back to 84 years ago is 1941. 1941, 84 years ago, see what happened in different countries or globally. What happened globally during that time. Then go back 84 years ago. And it's like just going back into history to connect. Like, we study history to understand the future. Understanding the future, not like understanding the future, just understanding our present life and to say to extrapolate about the future when you kutakuwa. So right now, I'm trying to extrapolate how this Gen Z movement and Mau Mau is a spirit that is coming again. So, tumeanza kitu 2025, 2024, expect it to go till 2033. So there will be no unrest. Like, this is another thing. The movement has started, and the movement have already been given a name. Back in 1941, the movement also started. The Mau Mau, they were called some other names, but it turned out that they were dubbed Mau Mau by the whites, right? Because those were the people in power back then. Now, in our time right now, we have been dubbed the Gen Z movement, right? But we are not only Gen Zs, we are a mixture of both millennial and Gen Z, some civil societies when you are older than us. It's just that people have now come together to fight for something yenye is right. Now, back then the people don't really fight. And also, I don't know, civil societies to fight for the people. But then again, so the movement already has a name, the Gen Z movement, right? But how are we performing? How are we doing our shit? Back then, Akina Mau Mau, they really used to do their shit. There was planning. Yeah? And one of the most things that they had, one of the things that united them, they say they didn't have a leader, but in every like units or every base that they were in, there was a leader, right? But in this, all these units, Kenya tuko counties, different counties, no. So in each county, kuna Mau Mau, and in each county, kuna Mau Mau, hiyo county, I think kulikuwa na coordination. It was like, I think the oath was something that really united these people. Like the oath. Yeah, it's like, we need to have an oath. An oath system. Yeah, Clampage your oath, and we are going to fight these motherfuckers. Yeah. We need arms. I feel like we need arms. I was on to like, yesterday I saw a video, someone being dragged. I don't know if he's dead or he's still alive, but when you're brutal, bro. As we are living in the times, and so during this period, months for the next 8 years, bro, we need to do something, and this something has to do with we need to first mobilize. Okay, we are really good at mobilizing people. Kuna watu wenye wanadu hiyo shit vifiti, and we've been doing that. But then again, we need to do it at county levels. We need to frustrate these people at county levels. You get? If you can decide to do it the Mau Mau way, bro. No killing, no what, but just frustrating the economy. Demonstration every week is organized, but during hii time yenye wase wa demonstrate kuna hiyo education yenye that nigga was saying kwa the article. The article is from the Elephant what? Elephant something. You should go read that article. Itakusaidia itakupatia a perspective. Just go read it, think about it, see how that shit you can apply into your head. Right now, to be honest with you, there's so many things that I really don't know about our county. Like kuna vitu zenye sijui. Yeah, and me knowing them would really help me know how I can now really fight the movement. Not fight the movement, fight the government. It's more of like knowledge is more powerful, man. Knowledge is really powerful, and our people really need their minds liberated because I feel like right now we're just protesting. Oh, mutamamwa. There's just some people somewhere who are designing this shit. Yeah, it's good. We're protesting, we're fighting for the country and whatnot, but we need to have a strategy. Me mnasema tuko na strategy. I don't know the strategy. Like, to be honest with you, I don't know the strategy that you guys have. Yeah, as a Gen Z movement, as a Gen Z, I don't know the strategy that Gen Z have to move Ruto to power. I know the strategy venye najua tu ni protest, but I don't know the other strategies. Like, we need to have something in our for us all. Like right now we can do this shit. We can have need to form something. Kama ni movement inafaa kuendelea, you need to be more smart about this shit. So, as we continue protesting, as we continue agitating about our rights, as we continue shouting the Ruto must go, we also need to educate ourselves on matters, politics, on matters, revolutions, matters governance. Like, after tumesha Tomse, you feel like, okay, right now we're fighting about Tomse. Who naenda kuweka huko. You should have a plan in hand. Kama mimi kuna plan, I go at your boy. And you go think about whatever I tried to say here. Najua nimeshout, nimesema mambo. But yeah, man, I think there's something that really makes sense there. And if you can at least take action, it will be nice. You also need to take action for your life. Actually, as much as this shit basically about the country, you should also look at yourself. Look into you, like, what are the changes that need to happen for you to be where you want to be? Just see as a country, we know there's bad leadership, bad governance, police brutality, in so many injustices in this country, and we need to toa hizo vitu zote to move forward as a country. So you as an individual pia, you have to look into your life. Angalia tu life yako vizuri, bro, sister. Naona this change is happening internally, and you really need to be yourself right now. You really need to listen to whatever the fuck your soul is trying to say. Like, bro, chill, This is a time to just be you, be yourself, connect more with your soul. Just listen to your body. This is that time. Yeah. And if there's some shit that are not working in your life, kuna tu vitu zenye unafeel ni kama ziwork, umekuwa kizi try kuzidu for so long, bro, just leave them behind, because whatever is coming now, everything's gonna be fine if you take control of your life. Yeah, we need to take control of our lives, and as a country, we want to take control of our economy. So see, you think for yourself, and I'll hear you on the next one, or you will hear me on the next one, because I'm the one talking. Thank you for listening. Think for yourself.